check. Harun, you good?
Yes.
Yeah. And Brother Habib, you're okay?
Yeah.
You can maybe make that full screen, whatever you've got there. That would be great on screen. And yeah, and so how are you ready?
I am, but I can't see on my thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you and see you.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, the light's great. Yeah. Okay, so Harun, over to you. You can start admitting people now, inshallah. 6:30. Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So many people are back.
Assalamu
Are you
alaikum.
okay? Are you looking forward to the last session?
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
MashaAllah.
Assalamu
Wa
alaikum.
alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum assalam. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to have you all back. Wa alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Oh, I can see Abdullah chilling out there. I can see Adnan. I can see Aisha and her sisters. I can see Inaya. I can see Ahmed.
Zubaydah didn't meet King.
And I can see Ahmed chilling out. I can see Zubaydah and her sister. I can see Amira. Wow, there's so many people here today. MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Yeah, brilliant, mashallah. And we still got people joining, so that's amazing. And alhamdulillah, we've already up to 63, 64 families and counting.
Wa alaikum
Wa alaikum
salam.
assalam, Aisha.
Okay, guys, I've got a question for you. Wa
Okay,
alaikum
everybody, you
salam.
have to stay on mute now. Everybody, if you could stay on mute.
Raise hand function on Zoom. Okay, so ask your parents for help if you need. My question to you is, are you waiting? Are you listening? Yeah? Today's session is the final session on Ibrahim alayhi salam, and we're going to talking about loving Allah the most. Loving Allah the most. I want everyone to think of an example when they've had to give up something that they like to do because of Allah, because they had to pray or because they had to fast. Can you think of an example when you've had to give up something you like because of Allah? So raise your hand if you've got an example that you can share with us. Oh, Aisha.
When you fast.
Okay, Aisha, can you tell us?
She said, when you fast.
Yeah, so what did you give up?
Food.
Oh, food. And we all love food, don't we? That's a lovely example to start off with. Okay, anybody else got another example they can give us? When have you had to give up something you like for the sake of Allah, for the sake of Islam? When have you had to give up? I can see Al-Mira Qasim has a hand up. Tell us, Almira, what's your idea?
Give up drinking water.
Give up drinking water. Water is so important for us, but when Ramadan, we give up water for the sake of Allah as well. Brilliant answer. Okay, can we have another answer?
Pets.
Maybe not. Yes, again?
Yes.
I didn't quite understand that, Ustad Dakhtar. Did you understand it?
Did she say pets?
Pets. Give up pets. Oh, I guess if you like dogs, then you have to give up pets for the sake of Allah, because we're not allowed to have dogs in our house. So that's a nice example. Do you have another idea? So once if you've got an idea, put your hand up, and then when your name is mentioned, Ustad, after we'll mention your name, and then you can speak.
Let's hear from Afan, Ustad. Let's hear from Afan Muhammad, year 3. Go ahead, Afan. Come off mute.
When we have to pray salah, we stop playing.
Wow, that is one of my favorite examples. When you have to pray salah, you have to stop everything you're doing. You might be playing, you might be watching TV, and that's a good example of you giving up something you like because you love Allah more. Let's have some more examples. These are brilliant examples, mashallah.
Okay, let's go to Abdullah Akhtar. Let's hear from Abdullah Akhtar. Go ahead, Abdullah.
Allah.
Yep. When you pray Fajr, you need to get out of your warm bed.
Wow, what a beautiful example. When you need to pray Fajr, everyone loves their nice warm bed, but you have to give it up. You have to come out of your bed when everyone else is sleeping and you have to pray Fajr. That proves how much you love Allah. Okay, let's have another example.
Let's hear from the Abdul Ghani family. Abdul Ghani family, let's see who wants to come off mute and speak.
When you wake up, when you have to do your salah, you have to go and do wudu when you're really warm and then you get so cold after.
Oh, okay, mashallah. I think your dad's making you do wudu in cold water, isn't he? I think he's saying, don't put the heating on, don't put the hot water on. But that's a lovely example. When you have to do wudu, sometimes you're so relaxed and chilled out, and you don't want to go and splash water all over yourself and make yourself cold. So that's a lovely example of sacrificing for the sake of Allah, giving up something you enjoy because you love Allah.
Okay, and then let's hear from Zakaria Chowdhury, Noor al-Islam, year 5. Go ahead, Zakaria.
When I give up my playing for doing the housework.
Whoa, this is a very modern young lad who's helping his parents with his housework. MashaAllah, what a lovely son who's very dutiful to his parents. Not just Islamic acts of worship, he's actually given up playing to do housework for his parents. This is called birrul walidain, good treatment of parents. Well done, MashaAllah. Do we have some more examples?
I think everybody who's put their hand. Oh, maybe Hannah. Let's hear from Hannah. Hannah Maryam Bhatti, year 3. Go ahead.
You should give up fighting to make Allah happy.
Oh, mashallah. Give up fighting. Yeah, I know some people love fighting and enjoy fighting, and to give that up when you want to, when you really want to have a go at someone, and you got to control your temper because that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lovely example about character. Do you have any more examples?
Last one we're going to take is from Sumaya Ahmed. So let's hear from Sumaya Ahmed.
Okay.
And then,
when you have to give something to your friend.
What was that?
When you have to give something to your friend.
Oh, when for the sake of brotherhood and sisterhood, you give up something that belongs to you for your friend to keep the peace between brothers and sisters. That is such a mature example and such an inspiration to all of us. MashaAllah, that's a lovely one to end on. So, Ustad Akhtar, are we ready for the last session? I can't believe 3 days have gone.
It's gone so fast, and you know, we're gonna do this again in the next holiday period. But yeah, we're ready for today's amazing story about Ibrahim alayhi salam and his exciting journey around the Kaaba. So we're over to you, Ustad.
Okay, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah, Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all of you. I'm so happy to see you for the final session. And I'm kind of sad as well, because we're going to have to wait till December. But in December, we're going to have the story of Isa alayhi salam, the story of Jesus. And we're going to learn so much about the true story of Jesus. So today is going to be our final session on the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And the reason we started that question, give an example of something you've given up for the sake of Allah, is because today's session will all be about loving Allah the most. We're going to be speaking about Ibrahim alayhi salam and the story of Makkah and the Kaaba. But before we do that, we're going to zoom over to Canada. Yes, you heard me correctly. We're going to Canada to listen to Hamza Nadeem recite. Hamza, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, Hamza Nadeem is going to recite from Surah Al-Baqarah for us today. Are you ready, Hamza?
Yes, I am.
Now, if you when you're following student at home and parents, we are on Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 124, the story of Ibrahim. Bismillah, Hamza, go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ ابتلى إبراهيم ربه بكلمات فأتمهن قال إني جاعلك للناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال عهد الظالمين وإذ جعلنا البيت مثابة للناس وأمنا واتخذوا من مقام إبراهيم مصلى وعهدنا إلى إبراهيم وإسماعيل أن طهر بيتي للطائفين والعاكفين والركع السجود وإذ قال إبراهيم رب اجعل هذا بلدا آمنا وارزق أهله من الثمرات من آمن منهم بالله واليوم الآخر قال ومن كفر فأمتعه قليلا ثم أضطره إلى عذاب النار وبئس المصير وإذ يرفع إبراهيم القواعد من البيت وإسماعيل ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم ربنا وجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذريتنا أمة مسلمة لك وأرنا مناسكنا وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ربنا وبعث فيهم رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياتك ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة ويزكيهم إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم ومن يرغب عن ملة إبراهيم إلا من سفه نفسه ولقد اصطفيناه في الدنيا وإنه في الآخرة لمن الصالحين إذ قال له ربه أسلم قال أسلمت لرب العالمين صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. That was awesome. Hamza, MashaAllah. It's so great to hear from you. It's so great to hear you recite. How are you doing at the moment in Canada, and what are you doing in Canada?
So I'm over here, basically, I'm trying to pursue basketball in university at the moment. And right now I'm studying for a year so I can get into uni over here in Canada.
MashaAllah. So you're actually trying to pursue a professional career as a basketball player in Canada?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, MashaAllah, because we've heard that countries like obviously the US and Canada, they take the sport more seriously and they've got more opportunities than the UK. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And how's your Qur'an going at the moment? How close are you to finishing the Qur'an?
I've actually finished a couple months ago, so I'm just in the process of revising it all now so I don't forget anything.
Allahu Akbar, you've actually memorized the entire Qur'an.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Everyone should say MashaAllah. And how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
18.
And how do you balance the kind of commitments of being a professional sports person, trying to be a professional sports person, and revising the Qur'an? Can you give us an idea how many hours on both you have to do?
It all depends on time. It's all about time. So you have to just manage your time, right? And it doesn't matter how little or how much it is, as long as you set a certain time every day where you can focus on that thing, then you can go as far as you want in it.
MashaAllah. So typically in your Qur'an, how much time do you have to spend a day revising? Because you've now, alhamdulillah, finished the Hifz of Qur'an.
Yeah. So at least 30 minutes to an hour a day.
Okay.
At least.
MashaAllah.
Minimum.
And your journey in memorizing the Qur'an, how many years did it take you? When did you first start?
Well, when I first started, I was probably in year 3. And then I ended up moving to a different country in year 5, which was Mauritania, continuing my journey memorizing. I lived in the desert for 3 months with a sheikh, and yeah, so it's been a long journey.
MashaAllah.
It was very beautiful journey, I'd say.
MashaAllah.
Come a long way.
But you've never given up. You've kept at it, and MashaAllah, here you are. You've memorized the Qur'an and you're shooting hoops. And how many hours of basketball practice do you have to do a day to make sure you keep up to that standard where you might play for a professional team?
It's a lot of hours. It's 2 hours here, then you've got to do 2 hours later there. So it's like, as long as you're doing something, but I'd say maybe about 4 or 5 hours a day.
Wow.
Whether it be not just hooping, it could be in the gym, lifting weights, just to keep your body in shape and everything.
Okay, mashallah. Now, last question from me, Hamza. Let's say I'm a professional basketball coach. I spot you and I say, look, I think you're going to be the next Michael Jordan. Yeah. But you're going to have to shave that hairstyle off, because Michael Jordan has a shiny head. And for the pictures, when you're dunking those basketball hoops, we don't want your hair getting in the way of the pictures. So what would you say? Would you take up the contract?
If it's got to be done, it's got to be done.
Oh, mashallah, that's commitment for you. I'm only joking, Hamza. Mashallah, it's lovely to hear from you. You're an inspiration to all of us, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you pursue your dreams, wherever they be, in Canada, playing professional basketball. But most importantly, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you firm on memorizing, revising, and implementing the Qur'an. Assalamu alaikum, Hamza.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay, inshallah ta'ala. So we're now going to go back to the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and I'm going to try our best to finish the final chapter in the story of Ibrahim. Are you guys ready?
We need to see some waving of some hands and some, so we can see you're all awake. Yeah, look, they're all awake. They're all ready.
Okay, so Ustad Akhtar, now I've got to share my screen with you guys.
Yeah.
Are you able to do that from your end, or do I have to do that?
You should be able to do that.
Okay, let me just go. Here we go. Share screen.
There you go.
So can you guys see my screen now?
It's loading up. Just give us a second. There we go. We can see it.
Oh, nice one. Okay. Bismillah. So in the final story of the Al-Noor family story time, we're going to speak about the final part of Ibrahim alayhi salam's journey. Now, in the beginning, I spoke to you that Ibrahim alayhi salam is on a mission. It's not mission impossible. It's not mission to Mars. It's mission Tawheed. He is traveling across the world, traveling hundreds of miles just to spread the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just to spread the word of Islam. We mentioned that he was born in Babylonia in modern day Iraq. But we heard about how his people turned against him, how his father turned against him, and his epic debate with the king Namrud. And they eventually tried to burn him alive, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him. So he left Babylonia and he made hijrah. He traveled all the way to Asham, which is modern day Syria, to spread the word of Islam. But again, they did not accept his message there. So then he went to Palestine, where Masjid al-Aqsa is today. Now, Ibrahim alayhi salam, as he is traveling around the world, he comes to a terrible realization that there is almost nobody in the world who believes in Allah, who worships Allah alone. There are plenty of people who claim they believe in Allah, but there's almost nobody who worships Allah alone, who prays to Allah alone, and who has the highest levels of love and fear and hope for Allah alone. That's why I started asking you the question, when have you had to give up something that you like because you love Allah most? He then goes to Yemen from Palestine, which is hundreds of miles away. He then travels to Egypt, and it's from here that he marries his wife Hajar, and she's very important to the story of Makkah. He then returns to Palestine and then back to Makkah again. So can you imagine that? Hundreds of miles of journey, and he's not doing that because he's traveling for sport, he's traveling for trade, he is doing this all for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's trying to spread the word of Islam to all of these different countries. Long journeys, hundreds of miles on the back of a camel. There's no airplanes in those days. Now, in these journeys, he becomes very old. These journeys takes years and years and years. And all the time he's making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him a child that could carry on his message after he dies. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses him with a baby boy whose name is Ismail. Ismail, radiyallahu anhu. He's actually a prophet himself, the prophet Ismail. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests them now and tells Ibrahim alayhi salam to take his wife Hajar and take his son Ismail to a city where nobody lives anymore. Now, Ustad Akhtar, can we ask the question to the children? Do they know which city Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered Hajar and Ismail to be taken to? Do you think they would know if I asked them? Would they be able to raise their hands and tell Ustad Akhtar?
You have to stay quiet, everyone, and you have to raise your virtual hand, your blue hand, and then we'll ask you to come off mute. So lots of you raised your hand. Well done, mashallah. However,
Wow.
The first one I think may have been Musa, who's year 3 from Cranberry Tree. So Musa, you want to say what answer you think it might be?
Makkah?
What an excellent answer. The correct answer was Makkah. In those days, there was no one living in Makkah because there was no water in Makkah and it was just desert. So if there's no water, nobody can survive. So there was nobody living there at all. But there was a very special building in Makkah. There was a very special building. Ustad Akhtar, do you think we could ask the children now, what was the very special building which was in Makkah?
Okay, so again, raise your hands when you're ready. Oh, so many people raise their hands.
I'll put your real hand up.
Your virtual hand so we can see it.
MashaAllah.
And let's hear from Ibrahim Latif, who's Olive Tree student. Go ahead, Ibrahim.
Baba.
He said
What
the
did he
Kaaba.
say, Ustad?
So
Oh,
he said the
MashaAllah, the Kaaba is correct. Many people think that Ibrahim built the Kaaba. The Kaaba goes back to the beginning of time. Right from the time of Adam alayhi salam, the first human being, the Kaaba has always existed. And we're going to learn that Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam, they didn't build the Kaaba. They simply rebuilt it or raised the foundations of the Kaaba. The Kaaba goes back right to the beginning of time. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested Ibrahim. He couldn't settle down with his wife and his son where he was living. He had to take them to a new city called Makkah, and he had to leave them in Makkah. And he put his wife and his son Ismail, his wife Hajar and Ismail in Makkah, and he turned around and he walked away. And his wife Hajar was panicking and she was saying, "Where are you going? Where are you leaving us?" And Ibrahim didn't even turn around. And then she realized, because she was a very intelligent woman, she said, Did your Lord order you with this? Did Allah tell you to do this? And Ibrahim nodded, and then she understood. So now she had a little bit of water left and a little bit of food left, but that soon ran out within a few hours. And she was looking for water because Ismail was very hungry and very thirsty. So Hajar, she went between two mountains running, looking for water. And the two mountains are Safa and Marwa. These mountains, there's a little bit of them left today. Now, I wonder, Ustad Akhtar, if the children will know this question. This is quite a difficult question. Today, when we do Hajj, we reenact, we do what Hajar did going between Safa and Marwa. Does anybody know what the special name is for going between Safa and Marwa 7 times? Does anybody know what the special name is for going between Safa and Marwa 7 times? Ustad Akhtar, there's less hands up, I think, now.
Yeah, but still a lot of hands still up. Let's see from who we haven't heard from. So we've heard, let's hear from Imran Jaffrey. Imran Jaffrey, Al-Noor year 3. Let's hear from you.
Sahin?
Say that-
Sahi?
Sa'i is correct. Yes, Sa'i is correct. This is what Hajar did, and this is what we do. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala performed a miracle. When Hajar was going between Safa and Marwa, Ismail was getting thirstier and thirstier, and Hajar was panicking. She was panicking because she couldn't see any water. So Ismail, the baby Ismail, he began to kick the floor with his foot like little babies do when they're upset and angry and hungry. And where he was kicking, a beautiful spring of water came out, gushing like a big spring shooting up in the air of water. And Hajar, she went around the water source and she tried to just cover it to make sure it doesn't spill away and sink into the desert. And the Prophet ﷺ said, if Hajar hadn't done that, this water would have been across the whole of the world. Now, I know I got the answer, but does anybody know straight away by heart, without looking, what the name of that special water source is? It's a special spring of water. We all drink it even to today. Even when we go back to Ramadan, we all love to drink it. Anybody know what the name is? Don't control them, Ustad. They all know the answer.
Okay, so that we had to put everybody on mute there for a second because they got a bit too noisy. Let me unmute Ustad. So
Okay.
Jazakallah khair. Just a reminder, everyone, please raise your virtual hand. Don't come off mute because we can't hear, if all of you talk at the same time, we can't hear anybody.
I know.
Okay.
But
So
Ustad,
I
they
think
all knew the answer for that. It
that's
was
right.
Zamzam.
It was Zamzam.
Okay.
Amazing.
So now Ismail and Hajar, they have water and they live there, and another tribe comes and joins them. This is the tribe of Jurham. They came from Yemen, and they respect that this well belongs to Hajar and Ismail. Now Ibrahim, after many years, he returns back to Mecca and he finds that the city which he had left, which was just a desert, now has water. It is like a little city and there's people living there. And he meets his son, who's now a young boy, his son Ismail. And he loves his son. He loves his son so much because he hasn't had a chance to be with him for so many years. But then when he comes back to Mecca and he spends time with Ismail, he sees a dream. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this dream in the Qur'an. He mentions when he was asleep and seeing in his dream, Inni azbahuka. He kept on seeing a dream where he's slaughtering his son, where he's actually killing his son. And the dreams of the prophets are true. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this in the Quran in Surah As-Safat. فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَعَهُ السَّعْيَ قَالَ يَا بُنَيَّ إِنِّي أَرَى فِي الْمَنَامِ أَنِّي أَذْبَحُكَ فَانْظُرْ مَاذَا تَرَى. When his son became old enough to walk with him and run with him, Ibrahim says, my beloved son, I see in a dream that I am slaughtering you, that I am killing you. So what do you think I should do? Ibrahim is such a good father. He doesn't just say to Ibrahim, okay, I have to slaughter you. You know how it goes. He says, what do you think? He asks his opinion. And Ismail is such a brave young boy. He responds to his father, قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. Does anybody remember what the word abati means? We mentioned this in the first lesson. Ustad Akhtar, do we have time to hear from them? What does the word abati mean? Does it mean dad?
Okay.
Does it mean yo dad?
Let's hear from Abdullah. Abdullah, you raise your hand first. Go ahead, Abdullah. Come off mute.
Okay, so ya abati means, oh my beloved and respectful father.
MashaAllah. It means my beloved and respected father. If al-ma tu'mar, do as you are commanded. Satajiduni insha'Allah min as-sabirin. You will insha'Allah find me patient. He doesn't boast about it. He doesn't say, Dad, you can do what you want because my iman is so high. He says, insha'Allah, I will be patient. So now, Oops. Now, Ibrahim takes his son to be slaughtered. He takes him to a special place and he gets a very, very sharp knife and he puts the knife on the throat of his own beloved son Ismail and he pushes down. He pushes down. Does anybody know what happens next? Does Ismail go, ah, I'm dying. My neck is cut open. I cannot breathe. Does anybody know what happens next? It's like a cliffhanger. It's like a film, an action movie. When the most exciting bit happens, what happens next? Who do we choose?
Let's choose Amira, who's in, or Amira in year 5. She had her hand up first.
What happens, Amira?
Allah sends a lamb or a sheep.
Yes, it's not actually a lamb or a sheep. It's mentioned, بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ. It's a great ram. It's a ram. It's like a type of sheep. And Ibrahim presses on the knife and it actually slaughters the ram. And that's why every Eid we have to do an udhiyah, a sacrifice, because we're remembering Ibrahim alayhi salam's sacrifice. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the most important part of the story, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to test Ibrahim. Who do you love more? Do you love me, your God, more? Or do you love your son more? And Ibrahim proved that he loves Allah the most. So that's why I asked you in the beginning, all you children, when have you had to give up something you like for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Maybe you're watching your favorite TV program and it's time for salah. You have to give it up, you have to switch it off and you have to pray your salah. Maybe it's Ramadan and it's your favorite snack is on the table, but you can't eat it because you're fasting, you have to give it up. One of the parts of Islam which are the most important, which we learn from the story of Ibrahim, is that a lot of the times you have to give up something you love because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, somebody who hasn't spoken before, can you give me an example when you've had to give up something you love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So, Ustad Akhtar, can we pick somebody who hasn't spoken yet? Can we hear about a time they had to give up something which they like because they love Allah more?
Let's hear from Sumaya Ahmed. Sumaya, are you there?
So once I was watching like a TV show, but then the Maghrib Salah to like open your fast came.
Oh, mashallah. And then you switch your TV show off? Okay, excellent. MashaAllah. That's a lovely example of giving up something you love because you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most. So now once they pass the test, Ibrahim and Ismail are given the honor of raising the foundations of the Kaaba, rebuilding the Kaaba. The Kaaba was already there, but they made it even higher and made it even bigger. And they laid bigger foundations. And they made a special dua which Hamza read for us at the beginning. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Oh Allah, accept from us. Because when we do good things, we don't get proud. We don't say, oh, look at us, look how cool we are, look how good Muslims we are. We say, رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Oh Allah, accept from us. You are the all-hearer, the all-seeing. We want Allah to accept our worship. Now, my last question to you guys before we do the quiz, can somebody tell me an example of this? When you pray your salah, as soon as you pray your salah, you say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Do you then stand up and say, whoa, look at me. I prayed my salah. Look how cool I am. Look what a good Muslim I am. Is that what you say? Can somebody tell me what you have to say 3 times when you pray your salah and you finished? Can somebody tell me what you have to say?
Let's hear from Adilla. Is it Adilla? Oh, she's put her hand down. So let's go to, who's next? Let's go for Yunus Amira, who are a year 4 and year 7. Let's hear from them. Yunus Amira, come off mute. No. Oh, they might be shy as well. Okay, what about Ibrahim? Ibrahim H?
Oh,
We have to say Allahu Akbar 3 times.
Well, actually, you say Allahu Akbar once, and then you say 3 times. What do you say?
Oh, Subhanallah.
You say Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. You haven't done anything wrong, but you're being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're saying to Allah, I know that prayer was not good enough for you, oh Allah. So whenever you do a very important good deed, don't ever think proud of yourself, and don't think, I'm such a good Muslim, I'm so cool. You always say Astaghfirullah, 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 or you say Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka anta as-sami'ul alim. Oh Allah, accept from us, accept what little we have done. So we're going to have to stop the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam there, because it then carries on into other prophets, and we don't have time to talk about that today. But what we do have time for, Ustad Akhtar, is the grand quiz. Are we ready, Ustad Akhtar?
Oh, this is, yeah, we're all ready for this. This is one of our favorite parts of the day. So we're going to ask you to stop sharing your screen. That's great, Ustad. So everyone, get your fingers ready to punch in those answers. And Ustad, shall we launch the first question?
Yes, please.
Okay, here we go. So the first question is, which of the following countries did Ibrahim alayhi salam not visit as part of Mission Tawheed? Was it Mecca, Syria, Palestine, Egypt, or the US of A? Which one did he not go to? So punch your answers on the screen, and we've got 52 out of 78 families that have voted so far, so we're up to 70%. So we'll give you another maybe 5 seconds. Quickly make a choice. Was it Mecca, Syria, Palestine, Egypt, or the United States of America? Okay, Ustad, ready for the answer?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's share the results.
Oh, mashallah, 94% of you got it right. It was USA. The USA didn't even exist at that time. The USA, the United States of America, is only a few hundred years old. Ibrahim was there 4,000 years ago. So the correct answer is USA. Can we go to the next question, Ustad?
Yeah, let's go to the next one. And here we go. So, which sacred place did Ibrahim alayhi salam and his son Ismail alayhi salam build or rebuild? Was it Masjid al-Aqsa, Masjid al-Nabawi, Al-Kaaba, or the station of Ibrahim? Was it Masjid al-Aqsa, Masjid al-Nabawi, the Kaaba, or the station of Ibrahim alayhi salam? Which one of those? And we've got so many quick answers here. We're almost at 100%. Wow, 3 more seconds for everyone. Last 3 seconds. Okay, and here you go. Here's the results, Ustad.
Oh, mashallah, 90% of you got it right. The correct answer is the Kaaba. They rebuilt the Kaaba. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, Ustad, if you don't mind me saying, there is a place today, if you go there to do tawaf, there is a golden container, and this is called Maqam Ibrahim, the station of Ibrahim. And if you manage to get close enough and look inside, you will actually see the footprints of Ibrahim alayhi salam, where he stood when he was putting the roof stones on the Kaaba. Okay, Ustad, let's go for the next question.
Okay, here comes question number 3. And here it is. So, what is Maqam Ibrahim? What Ustad just mentioned, station of Ibrahim in front of the Kaaba. Is it a footprint that was made by Ibrahim alayhi salam on a stone when rebuilding the Kaaba? Is it a golden box? Is it the black stone? Or is it a special gateway to another university? Amazingly creative answer there. So which one is it? Is it a footprint? Is it a golden box? Is it the black stone? Or is it a special gateway to another university? Let's see which one we have. We have 76% of the votes. Give you another 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, let's have your answers showing here. Let's share the results. And here we are, Ustad.
Oh, mashallah. This actually is one of the lowest correct response rates, even though 73% of you got it right. It's a footprint that was made by Ibrahim on a stone when rebuilding the Kaaba. The golden box is just the outside container. The black stone is called Hajrul Aswad. That's in a different place, close to Maqam Ibrahim. As for a special gateway to another universe, I think some of you have been watching too much Harry Potter, Ustad.
Could be. It could be. Okay, let's go. Should we go over to the next question?
Yes, please.
Okay, so here is the next question. What special dua does Ibrahim alayhi salam make for Makkah and its people? Does he make a dua to provide fruits for them and send a prophet to them, to protect them from an army of elephants, to have regular flights to Jeddah airport, or to make the visas to Makkah easier? That's a bit of a tough one there, Ustad. I think we're going to get some interesting answers. So is it to provide fruits from them and send a prophet? Is it to protect them from an army of elephants, to have regular flights to Jeddah, or to make visas accessible via Makkah? Let's see. And we're up to 78% of the votes. So let's give you a few more seconds. Okay, and now let's share the results. And here you go, Ustad.
MashaAllah. This was a bit of a trick question. You had to be listening carefully at the beginning and watching the PowerPoint and the translation. I did not mention this dua in the talk. You had to actually watch the PowerPoint at the beginning and the translation of the ayat that Hamza was reading. The correct answer, 73%, to provide fruits for them and send a prophet to them. The army of elephants is actually Surah Al-Fil. This happened in the year when the Prophet ﷺ was born. Having regular flights to Jeddah airport. Come on, guys, who's that one person? There were no flights on those days, and there was no Jeddah airport even in those days. To make visas Makkah easier, there's 7 of you. I think some of you, your parents must be working as in the tourism industry. 7 people said to make visas to Makkah easier. There was no visas in those days. You could just go wherever you wanted. Okay, Ustad, shall we move on?
Yeah, to the final question. So the final question for this particular story of Ibrahim alayhi salam and for our program this week is, why did Allah order Ibrahim alayhi salam to slaughter his son Ismail? Was it that Ismail had done something wrong, to test whether Ibrahim alayhi salam loves Allah more than loves his son? Was it to punish Ibrahim alayhi salam, or there was no reason? So which one of these 4 is it? Is it that Ismail did something wrong? Was it to test Ibrahim alayhi salam, who he loves more, Allah or his son? Was it to punish Ibrahim alayhi salam, or there was no reason? And look at that, Ustad, we've got amazing amount of votes. They've voted already. So let's see what they've said. Here's the results.
Oh, mashallah, this is one of our highest correct answer rates. It's 94% of you got it right, which is to test whether Ibrahim alayhi salam loves Allah more or loves his son more. When you love Allah the most, that's what Allah described as qalbun salim, a pure heart. A pure heart is a heart that loves Allah the most. And we all want to have pure hearts, where the most important thing for us is the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That ends our 3rd and final session. Now, Ustad Akhtar, there were some people who've been working very hard behind the scenes, making sure these fun activities could take place. Do you want to say a few words about them, Ustad Akhtar?
Yeah, so we just want to first of all thank all of you for coming and joining all 3 sessions. Great to be with you. Put up a little poll which you can say how many people are watching from your sessions. Thank you, parents, for supporting your children in growing in their love for the Qur'an and for learning about the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And we want to thank our Al-Noor team and volunteers, Brother Habib, Sister Roxana, Brother Umar, yourself and Ustad Sohail and Ustad Masood for brilliant reminders, and our guests that we've had such as Hamza and Isa and the guest reciters. It's really been a great team effort. So thank you all, inshallah. And do have a look at putting how many people have come so we can see. And we would like you to tell us now, if you can, by raising your blue virtual hand, if you want us to do this again in the next holidays. So if you do, raise your hand and let us know whether we want to do this or not in the next holidays, so we can arrange it. And if we do, then ask your parents, please, to make sure they stay on our mailing list. And definitely, we're going to try and run something for the Christmas holidays, the December holiday periods. Is that right, Ustad?
That is absolutely right. I think there's so many people who want to do this again. I can see so many smiley faces. I can see somebody playing with their hair. Their screen name is Zach, but I don't think it's Zach. It's a girl. I can see Hannah having a party there. I can see Shazadi. I can see Manaz. I can see so many cool people having fun there. I think we definitely need to do this next holiday. In December, inshallah, we're going to speak about the story of Isa alayhi salam. And I'm sure that you're going to find that just as enjoyable and just as exciting. I can see so many happy faces. Zubaydah, I can see Musa, I can see Afnan, I can see Hamza, mashallah. I can see Yunus looking very serious with his sister Amira. They're not messing around. They're not taking any nonsense from anyone. I can see Ayub, I can see Adam. They're all such smiley, happy faces, and I'm going to look so forward to the next session in December, in the first week of December. Make sure your parents stay on the Telegram group so we can send them links and adverts for the next session. Now, Ustad Akhtar, there's one time when we all get to go on unmute. We all get to say salam. Are we at that time now?
We definitely are. My favorite time. So go ahead, everyone. Let's hear from you.
Messy room. Very Mr. Jonas.
Alaikum assalam.
Salam. Alaikum.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum. Oh, look at that baby. Afnan, there's a baby.
I'm not a baby.
Oh, somebody's gone to space. I mean, it's in space. Oh, look at that baby. The baby looks shocked. And it looks like somebody's already been Umrah. How did you get to Umrah?
Lord Cargo.
Alaikum. Alaikum.
Okay, everyone. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Wa alaikum assalam.
Inaya has been very quiet nowadays. Alaikum. Umran, you're looking very scary.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.